Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Coloring Passports. I'm Rio and I am super excited to have you in the studio with me today. We are going to be working out of the dolphin book, but before we get started, let me tell you about the sponsor of this episode. This message is proudly brought to you by the awesome folks at the Protect Wild Dolphins Alliance. They've teamed up with the state of Florida to bring you something special, a unique license plate. But wait, it gets even cooler. A chunk of every sale goes straight to helping our amazing wildlife in Florida. These folks are real-life heroes, working round the clock to rescue, rehab, and release dolphins, whales, manatees, and sea turtles back into the wild where they belong. And for those that can't return to the big blue, they're given a cozy home and rescues. Imagine, just by getting your hands on one of these plates, you're helping to save our marine wildlife. Everyone with a vehicle needs a license plate, and this one saves lives. Scan the QR code or visit protectmarinewildlife.org and order your plate today. Be a hero for our wildlife. Now let's get into the illustration. Where to start? Where to begin? Where to begin? Where to begin? Okay, let's just dive right into this. Every time I get started, I always start with the sun. And in this particular situation, I'm going to take the white and I'm going to color a little bit of that sun with the white. Okay, and I'm going to switch colors super fast. All you need to do this, the only thing you need for this tutorial, as far as supplies goes, is a white Jelly Roll pen from the dollar store, maybe a kneadable eraser. I usually just try to fix whatever I've done that I didn't like, and a pack of 36 Crayola colored pencils. If you don't have 36, the 12 or the 24 will also work. 36 just gives you a little bit more color range and it helps with the overall effect of the painting. All right, let's get into it. So we've done the white. Let's do some yellow. I'm picking up the regular yellow. I'm going to come in here and very quickly, just ever so slightly, color that sun. See? Done. Sun's done. We don't want to touch it again. Not right now anyway. And then underneath the sun there, we're going to come in behind the bird's wings. We're going to come in with a little bit of color here. And I'm not going to be too concerned if some of this yellow gets right in the, we're coloring right over the palm trees. We're going all the way across. And I'm just very, very, very lightly. I don't want the sun any darker than what it already is. I just want it very lightly. I'm going to color right across the Florida too. And it's okay if I get it in the picture frame itself. We're not going to worry about that. You see what I'm doing? And I'm not even coloring the entire thing. I'm using the side of the pencil and I'm coloring super, super lightly. Now, we're going to switch colors quickly. Because one, I don't want you to overthink it. And two, it isn't going to matter. So if you have the golden yellow, grab it now. We're going to come up at the top and kind of just work in some of this golden yellow. I feel like there's going to be some golden yellow here behind the bird. I feel like there's going to be some golden yellow underneath the bird, underneath the sun here. And then maybe I'm going to just take some liberties here. Maybe it's kind of, you know, it's sunbeams. So as I come out, they get a little wider, a little bit darker at the top, and then they come down, right? So maybe that's what I'm thinking here, huh? Okay. So there's some variation there. Now I'm going to grab that yellow back, the same yellow that I had before. Because if it's in the sky, then it's going to reflect in the ocean. So right here, in between the neck of the bird, kind of right here, going along where the mangroves bank up, a little bit behind the bird here, a little bit under the bird, and I am barely, barely, barely touching it. And again, makes no difference if I get the color in the the letters of the plate. It's okay. How many of you are going to tell someone you know who lives in the state of Florida to get this plate? That's what I want to know. If I lived permanently in the state of Florida, I would definitely have this plate. I love this plate. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is grab some light orange. And I'm going to take the light orange and I'm just barely going to start adding some color down here. Again, going right over all this stuff. No big deal. Just kind of coming in, making some sunbeam effects here. A little bit darker up at the top of the sky. You know what a sunset looks like. Florida has some of the most spectacular sunsets I've ever seen. I'm going to come down here, add a little bit of that orange. Okay, and then again, if it's in the sky, then it's going to reflect in the water. And this is your painting. This is your world. You can make it look however you want to make it. Every single time I color one of these plates, and I do a lot of in-class clinics and tutorials. So I've colored this particular page hundreds of times. I never do it the same way twice. I just take some liberties and let the painting tell me what it's going to be. And yeah, I call it a painting, even though we're using pencils. To me, it's still a painting. Okay, so that is the light orange. There we go. Now, maybe I'm going to grab some yellow orange, and I'm going to come down here, maybe add a little bit more color, maybe a little bit more color up here. Maybe a little bit more color up here. You know, it's all good. It's all real good. Okay. And again, makes no difference if I color outside the lines because I'm going to make that something completely different anyway. So we're not even going to worry about it. Okay. Look at that. Now, as it comes over here, I'm going to let that orange get a little bit darker. Just a little bit more intense. And that means I'm just going to keep going over the same area a little bit at a time here. And then I'm going to add a little bit more over here. Right behind that palm tree. That palmy tree there is going to be green here in just a minute, so we're not worried too much about that. But I am kind of liking what's happening at this point. Now, I'm going to put that orange down, and I'm maybe going to pick up this red orange. Okay? It's not a true red. It's red to the orange side. And I'm going to come right over the top of some of that, because again, this side over here is just a little bit more intense, just a little bit darker. So, and again, you see where it's in the sky, it's in the water. So I did it in the sky first, and then I brought it down to the water. Now the sky is more intense. You're gonna be able to see more of that orange color. I'm gonna put a little bit of this red orange back here because I like it. Little bit of this red orange back here. Again, because I like it. Just a tiny bit of it coming this way. There we go. That's pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to put that down. Then I'm going to get my green, and I'm going to take the jade green, and I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to very lightly, actually, you know what I'm going to do first? Hold that thought. I'm going to take this yellow, the straight up yellow, and I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to go over all of this mangrove area with that yellow. And I'm just making egg shapes. So the entire thing's not really getting colored in. I can come down here where there's more. I'm going to just continue that whole line. So I'm going to put that yellow back. I'm going to take my green again. Now, I'm going to come in here and just start putting in the green color. And these are the mangroves. I'm going to extend my mangroves all the way out to here. Just going to go right over all of that. And we'll come back in a minute and we'll work on them a little bit. Make them a little bit more dimensional. Okay, there's that. And then we've got those palm trees here in the background, and we just want to add some of those palm fronds. And I'm not going to color the whole things in because I'm going to add some other colors. So there we go with that and that. That's looking spectacular. All right, so we have a little bit of this bronze yellow here. We're going to come in right underneath this. We're going to just start laying in a line right over the top of the orange, all the way down here, where I believe there would be a shadow where the water connects to those mangroves. And that again was the bronze yellow. If you have the 36 pack, if not, just use one of your colors a little darker. Okay, so here is the jade green. Now, what I'm going to do is come up here and just test this color a little bit. Ooh, that's probably not the color that I want, is it? I'm going to put the jade green down and change my mind. We're going to pick up the regular green. Okay. It's not terrible. So we're going to come down here. The very bottom of those mangroves is going to be shadowed, okay? So I'm going to color it a little bit darker with this darker green. And there's going to be little valleys where some of the mangroves pop up and they're going to show, you know, they're going to have a shadow. So the sun is coming from the left of the page. So the shadows are going to be on the right side of all of these bumpies and at the bottom of the mangroves. And as you go away from it, away from the sun, you'll be able to see less and less of a shadow effect. And I'm just going to round some of this off a little bit here because those mangroves aren't a straight line across. They're kind of little bumpy things when you see them in the distance. So, and these are going to be a little bit more. There's just going to be some shadow there. And then you're going to have a little bit of that color in the water because it's going to reflect in the water. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit of that green and come down here in the water. Don't be afraid. You're not going to mess it up. I promise you're not going to mess it up. So just get in there and get after it. Then I'm going to just come in and add a little bit of the green, this darker green. Over here on the right side, over here on the left side, because the sun's in the middle, so it's shooting out like this. So that's how we're going to get that color. And that is going to just be that. There we go. Okay. Now what do we want to do? If you've got the book, I'm going to flip and look at the paper. And if you've got the page, then directly on top, you've got the reference paper for the whole thing. So I'm gonna take this turquoise and I'm gonna come in right here above the dolphin and just barely, and I mean barely, put in some color here. And if it touches the dolphin, it's fine. If it touches some of the manatee, it's fine. And don't even worry about it touching the letters, because I'm just going to go over those letters in black later anyway, or you can go over them in whatever color you want. And again, this is how I'm coloring it. If you want to paint your dolphin green with yellow daisies, you go right ahead. This is just how I'm doing it this time. And next time I do it, maybe I'll do it a little different. Okay, there's the turquoise. I'm going to take the light blue and I'm going to come in here and start laying in some of this color above the manatee, right through the R. This is just where the water marks are above. I'm also going to take that blue. Let me flip real quick and take a peek. Yep, I'm going to take that blue and I'm going to come in up here and I'm going to start laying in some of that blue on this blue heron. Just going to kind of lightly go over this whole wing right here. I'm going to come in and just press harder on some of these areas. So this part right here is a lot darker. I'm going to come in and really darken this whole area right here up. Now you're going to see that I left some of that pink and orange shining through, and I'm going to grab some of that. Gonna grab a peach color and I'm just gonna go right over the tips of those feathers, because that sunlight is gonna hit the tips of those feathers. It's gonna make it look really cool. I'm gonna come over the top of his beak with this peach color, get that filled in. Gonna fill in a little bit of his leg with that peach color. Again, this is a graphic illustration. We're not going for extreme photorealism. I'm going to take that peach and go right over the top of all of this right here. Really kind of like that. And I'm going to add a little tiny bit of that peach up here to that part of, to the right sides of his wings. Then I'm going to come in and just there we go. I like that. I like that a lot. Looks nice. I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to just go over the sky again. And it's okay if you color in the outside the lines. Totally okay. I'm going to bring this yellow underneath the bird so that the water starts to have some real serious reflections on it. Keeping the sun white, just like we did. Above the bird, I'm going to color all the way across those mangroves there so that that yellow is even more evident. Okay, I'm going to turn it sideways and really get up in here with it. Some of that yellow is just going to stay lighter. Some of that yellow is going to mix right on in there with all those oranges and the reds that we've done. And it's going to just brighten up that whole sky. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to pull it right down into those mangroves. So any place that it was a little bit lighter, that yellow is really going to show through. that. That is nice. I like it. I like that a lot. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to grab this turquoise. I'm going to come over the top of this with this turquoise. Right over the letters, right over that orange. So those letters are kind of a hot mess right now. Hot mess express, but it's okay. I'm going to take a little bit of that turquoise right over the top here. I'm just drawing some lines because the water's always moving, so you're always going to see it like that. Water's always moving. There we go. Now I know right now that that's just a hot mess, but it's okay. It's going to get better. I'm going to grab the dark blue, which is just the plain blue, and no matter what set of Crayolas you have a plain blue. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a little bit of that right here. There's that. Now I'm going to take this green blue. Woo! That's going to be so pretty. I'm going to come in here and just start laying some of that color in there. Back over here. I wonder what it would look like if I colored this in with this super dark green. Let's just see. I got the turquoise and I'm just going to town on it. Kind of outline it a little bit. Yep. And then color it in. Look at that. Okay. Let's see, what does that look like? I kind of like it. Okay, let's very quickly do the rest of those. I'm going to just fill this in. I'm pushing super hard here and I'm just trying really hard. This is the only part that I'm going to tell you to be really careful to not color outside the lines because you won't be able to cover that up if you get this outside the lines. And it's going to be a super, super dark spot on your page that you're not going to be able to get rid of. Because I am pushing super hard here to get this done. But I just feel like if I get it done, then it's done, and then I can move on to looking at something else. Okay. And it's your plate. You can color it how you want. I think in the state of Florida, the letters are actually black. But again, it's your plate. You do it however you want. I like it. I'm gonna grab the sky blue. Come in over the top of all of this water. Start laying that in. Over the top of the sweet baby manatee there. Right over the top of the letters. I'm gonna color over some of this so that it looks more like water and less like scuffies. My hand hurts. Did your hand hurt? I'm going to get it done though. I'm determined to get it done. So. Right over all of those colors. And then we can come back in later with a white paint pen or a white jelly roll pen and add some highlights if we want to. It's no big deal. There we go. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's looking good. Okay, so I just realized that in the state of Florida, the letters are all white, but that's so hard to color and leave white. I'm gonna come up here and make these appear on top black. And I'm just gonna go around them with the black pencil and then get after it. I'd use a Sharpie or a marker, but it's going to bleed through and ruin the other page. So I'm just going to do it like this. And then I'll go around it with a fun color. Maybe red. Maybe I'll go around it with red. Okay, there's the L. I find that if I outline it first, it's a lot easier for me to color in the lines. I have no idea why that is. Been like that my whole life. So this is actually dark brown. I'm going to grab the black and go back over this with the black because I want these black. That's much better. Okay, look at that. That's getting pretty good. I was making paint today. That's why my hands got sparklies on it. Okay. So the Florida's done now. All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to leave the letters alone until I get a little further into it. So I'm going to put the black down. I'm going to let's get the bird handled. So I'm going to grab the slate. Let me take a peek here. I'm going to come in here with the slate. We're just gonna, this wing is up. And again, slate color it this way because it's up. This is the underside of his body, so we're going to just come in and lightly add some color here. I'm going to leave a little bit of that. I'm going to come in and go around his head here, do his neck. He's going to have obviously the bottom side of his neck is going to be a lot darker than, you know, where the sun is hitting him. There's his leg. He's got some color on his leg before it turns to the orange. And again, this is a graphic illustration. We're not going for perfection. We're just going for practice. We're just practicing. Darken this up right here. Darken this up right here. This here. Look at that. Got some color. I'm going to add a little bit of this pink just to see. Yep, that was not the color I wanted. A little bit of the pink on the ends of his feathers there too. That color looks terrible, but it won't after I take some of that yellow and go right over the top of it. Now there's light reflecting off the bird. Looks fine. I actually kind of like that. Gonna grab the dark brown over here. Gonna add a little bit of dark brown to this bird here. Just add a touch of it here right over his body, just because. Gonna add a little bit of it into this blue, kind of set it down a little bit. Okay, there we go. Bird. Well, pushed so hard that it broke the lead. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. What's it looking like? It's looking okay. All right, now let's get in here and let's start tackling this dolphin. All right, gonna grab the slate again and right in here. Now, this dolphin is convex. He goes around. So if you want him to go around and go around the circle, you can color him however you want. I'm always going to tell you that. But if you color in the shape of the dolphin, it'll look a little more realistic. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to color like this. Kind of in stretched out C's. Now I'm using the slate. I don't want to color in the whole thing. Right here behind his eye. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Right there. Right here underneath his smile line. And it's going to be a little bit darker. I know that it's going to be shadowed on this side of his rostrum. This is his rostrum. Come in here, same slate gray. Now I'm varying how hard I push to get some different effects. So now that I've started laying in some color, I know that that's going to be a super shadow there. So I went on ahead and pushed pretty hard there. This right here on the side. Now I'm going to let that come out where his belly connects to his back. I'm going to let that come over just a little bit. Right here in his armpit, I'm going to let that be a little bit darker. Again, I'm keeping all the strokes in the shape of the dolphin. So I know on the back side, he's going to have some shadow. I'm going to come over here with that same slate gray. I'm going to do a little bit of shadow there, a little shadow here, a little shadow here. Now up here I've drawn some lines for you because those lines are going to be a little bit darker. And then there's going to be some wild highlights where everything reflects, the light's reflecting off of the sweet baby's melon. Okay, the melon is the top of his head. All right. I'm going to put in some more dark back here, and the more you start to add in some darker colors, and see it's starting to change. The shape of him, the color of him, all of these things are starting to change. And all I'm doing is just adjusting how hard I press. Now this flipper, this pectoral fin, is on the back side of him and it's the underside of it. So it's going to be a lot darker. And then fade into a little bit lighter. Okay. And again, we've got shadow on this side of him. And come in and make that a little bit darker there. He's going to be a little bit darker here. Obviously, he's darker underneath his chin than he is on top of his chin. We know this to be a fact. Okay. This part right here, he's darker. Okay. Look at that. That is all just with the slate. I'm going to put the slate down. I'm going to grab the gray. And I'm going to come in up here. And I'm going to go right over the top of that slate with the gray. Now, gray comes in every color of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So the slate is a blue-gray. This gray is more of an orange-gray. I'm going to come over here and right up against his body, I'm going to really put in some of this slate color, or this gray, because this is a warmer gray color. I don't use those terms very often because you see color relative to the color that it's around. So a color can appear cool in one situation and warm in another. I'm going to come over here on this side and just hit these edges here. It's okay if I color outside the lines because I'm going to bring that water right into the dolphin anyway. Alright, so now let's start playing. Let's grab that light blue. Let's add just a touch of the light blue in here. Just a touch. We're not going to get crazy with it. But his belly is definitely going to have some of that light blue in it. Y'all, I don't know if you can hear the wind blowing, but the wind is just a howling outside today. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to grab this cool gray, is what it's called. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just go in and start adding a little bit of this in here. Got a little bit of it up here. Some of this cool gray underneath his flipper there. A little bit of the cool gray here. And this is actually a green gray, is what I think. I see green in this, so have a little bit of this on the side of his rostrum here, because the side of his rostrum here is going to have a little bit of a shadow. Look at that sweet baby dolphin. Now, I want to come in and add, I want to add a touch of this peach to the top. Add a little bit of peach on top here. I just feel like the sun would be hitting him here. Now, I could be wrong. Every time I do it, I use a little different colors. Every time I do it, I try something new. I'm going to add a little bit of the pink in here. Just get him glowing a little bit, you know. Then I'm going to come in with some of that yellow. And I'm going to go right over the top of that with some of the yellow. Because we know that he's going to have some sunlight kind of reflecting off of him a little bit there. Going to put that pink right back. Going to grab some turquoise. I'm going to come right here, right up against him. And just start putting in that turquoise color. I love it. I think it's so pretty. And I'm not going to take the time, we're not going to take the time to try to make the water super photorealistic. We're just going to put the water in. We're going to color right over that manatee's flipper. We're going to color right over the letters. Right back here where the manatee's back hits that water line. Now as we come down here, I like to make a little longer strokes and for them to kind of start going any which way. And some of them are a little bit harder and some of them are a little bit softer. I'm going to color right over where it says protect marine wildlife because we're going to make that darker here in a minute anyway. And then I'm going to come in with that same turquoise. And look what I'm doing. I'm coming right into the underside of that dolphin. I'm going to use a paint pen to clean this up, so. Look at it. He's going to be so cute. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get brave and I'm going to take some of this orange and I'm going to have some streakies of that color in the water there. Just a touch. Look at that. I kind of like it. A little wilder than what I normally do for this one, but I like it. Now a little bit of streakies coming down here. That's fine. It's all good. We're going to take that turquoise. No, the aqua green. So we've colored with the turquoise. Now we're going to come in with the aqua green. And we're just going to start laying in some of that color too. Look at how many different colors in the water we have already. This is awesome. Color super dark right there. And look, I'm going to color right over that fin, that pectoral fin. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to color over this one too. And I'm going to just kind of come in down here with some of this aqua green. Because that water is going to reflect off of his face and his rostrum. There we go. Okay, So that's been taken care of. Now, let's add a little bit darker color back down in here. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to matter. Okay, let's finish the manatee. We've got the gray. So we're going to come up here. We're going to take that gray. We're going to go around some of his little chubs here. I'm going to color the gray right over that back pectoral fin there. I want him to be in that cool gray. Where's that cool gray color? Slate. We're going to pick slate, actually. Okay, so I'm going to go in back here with the slate. And really, I'm going to lay it in dark on the very bottom, and then as I come up his back, I'm going to soften my stroke. I'm going to take the pink. I don't like that color. I'm going to take the peach. Warm him up a little bit. Take some of that cool gray. Tone it down a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. Now I'm going to come over here and outline and fill in right here where it says protect marine wildlife. I'm going to take my time. Fill this part in. How y'all doing? Hope you're loving your page. I know I've probably gone really fast. But that's okay. This is just for practice. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. We're almost done. Then I'm going to come in, highlight it with a little bit of white. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to finish this while you guys finish yours, and I'll come right back. All right. There's that. Now I got to find my paint pen. Looking for my paint pen. Okay. Got my paint pen here. Gonna come in, do some highlights here. And again, you don't have to do it with a paint pen. You can do it with a jelly pen. You can do it with your white colored pencil if you want to. I just kind of like how it looks with the paint pen, so I'm going to come in here, add some highlights where the water lines would be hitting them here. Gonna add a little bit of highlights to the sweet baby manatee here. Gonna add some highlights to the bird. And who knows, maybe I'll go around my letters. Oof, that maybe was a terrible idea. I don't even know about that. Here. Oh, I need to add some lines to the water too. Some random paint lines to the water. You see, when I start to do that, it sort of connects everything here. Then maybe that sweet manatee's got some watermarks on it. And then I'm just going to come in and just touch so that they're not so harsh on the manatee. Yeah, my letters were way better just solid. Well, they're not terrible. I could get my ruler. See, this is where you just open up a can of worms here. And the other thing is I'm going to add some white up here to the sun so it's a little bit more intense. Maybe some little highlighties here and there in the mangroves. I'm just going to touch that. I'm going to wipe the tip of my brush off. What if I do this? That's not terrible. That's not terrible. I don't really think it's adding to the effect of it though, so I'm going to tell you that I don't know that going around your letters is worth it. Now, again, it's your piece of art. You decide how you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and finish outlining my letters very, very loosely. just because I kind of already started doing it. I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add some lines, some water ripple lines. Because I like the water ripple lines. I think they do look a little, make it look a little more realistic in keeping with the illustration effect of it too. Okay, so let's go around this very loosely. Oh, see, now it's really putting out the white. Yeah. Okay. Again, I don't know if I'm adding to this or just wasting my time. You can outline yours. Tell me what you come up with. I like it. I like it. Okay. There you have it. Hang on, we got to do we got to go around the edge. Now, you can go around the edge however you want. I'm just going to clean it up by coloring the frame black. Look at that. And I'm pushing real hard. Now I'm going to be super careful to not color outside of these lines. And it's going to pill up a little bit, and you might have to sharpen your pencil at some point in this. But I just think that a black outline border here, and you can try any color. I encourage you to try them all. So that's how you learn. Let's get in there and let's get that cleaned up. Oh my goodness, that's so much better. Look at that. Oh yeah. And I colored outside the line a little bit. What color did you all pick? I want to know. I wish I could see each and every one of you coloring this page. Okay, let's finish up here. I had to stop and sharpen my pencil because I want this line as solid as I can get it. Because it's going to cover up all of that coloring outside the lines that I did. As long as I'm careful And don't run that black into my yellow. Goodness. This is the first time I have used these colored pencils so hard. And I'm really impressed with these Crayolas, how much pigment's in them and how well they lay down when you really ask them to. I'm going to put a little bit more color right there. A little bit more color there and there. Just kind of use my finger, rub that in. Look, I'm almost done. I'm going to outline it around the corner so I don't color outside of the lines. I don't know why, but outlining it helps me. Oh my goodness. Y'all feel free to turn your page. I just don't want to turn my page because I don't want to mess up the frame on here for you to see this. So I got a thick outline. I'm pushing real hard. We are almost finished with this project. Okay, there it is. I could keep going. I feel like I want to add a little bit more color randomly in here. I could just keep going. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna say enough is enough. I'm gonna take this dark turquoise here and I'm going to sign my name. Love, Rio. So there you have it. Oh, got a little bit, just a tiny bit of dust on there, but not much. This one did really, really well. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing my studio with you today. Do me a favor and go scan the QR code and go check out the Protect Wild Dolphin Alliance plates. These plates save lives. Simple as that. Everyone in the state of Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina has to have a license plate. It might as well be this one. And so with that, it's a wrap. This has been another episode of Coloring Passports, the Florida License Plates edition. I'm Rio. Thanks for joining me in the studio. I'll catch you on the next page.